Microsoft's cool. Now you spent some time at Sun.
Yeah, I did.
Right?
Actually, a long time at Sun.
So how is it getting over Sun's culture and moving into Microsoft? I mean, how does it feel? Is it a little stodgy? I mean, people talk about, I mean, they're blaming problems here on Microsoft to explore. And I mean, how is the culture changing for you?
So I would say that there's a couple of things that are really important. So I spent 18 years at Sun. My last job at Sun was actually running part of their cloud business, which is kind of where I got kind of this cloud addiction. I think the thing that's really interesting is when you look at Microsoft is there's a perception, there's a reality, and certainly in the Valley and in a number of the forward-thinking teams like Bing, et cetera, Microsoft is clearly a changed company. We look at this as, you know, we want to be out in front, we want startups to work with us, we want enterprises to be our customers, but our goal in life, and through programs like BizSpark where we make everything free for startups, I mean, the idea is we want to drive the next generation of innovation as partners. We'll do some of that in our own app space, but we expect, you know, there's a very famous quote that came out of the Valley years and years ago, happened to be by a Sun founder, but essentially is, you know, not all the smart people are going to work for you, right? So what's your strategy to work with the community? And that's something I've embraced my entire career. I look at the people here and go, I mean, I've already seen 10 companies I want to follow up with on, that's really cool, how can we help kind of thing.
Great. Let's talk about, again, questions. Please. Oh, we do have a question. Go ahead.
Hi. I can hear you say that you would like to get the smart people to work with you. However, Microsoft has a history of getting people to come and work for them as developers, outside developers,
right,
and then having their own interests, their own applications, either organically, internally produced or externally acquired, and going back to their developers and say, move up the stack, we're taking this stuff. How do you react to developers who say, I have a long memory?
Yeah, so certainly, you know, I've only been at Microsoft for a short time now, but my view of this is that it is a change company. We can clearly lay out a pretty decent roadmap, especially in cloud, for people that want to work with us, on where we're going to innovate and where we expect other people to be able to innovate. In addition, there's a large effort here in Silicon Valley and with the startup community around the United States to kind of be able to disseminate that both to innovators and entrepreneurs, but also to the VC community, so that they're recommending to their client companies where they think where Microsoft's going to go forward and where, you know, individual entrepreneurs are going to go forward. So I hear it. I want to say that in my time at Microsoft, I have not seen that directly yet. I'll put the word "yet" on there because certainly Microsoft's a big company and does a lot of innovation in a lot of interesting spaces. But there's a clear sensitivity to making sure that Microsoft can provide the best partnership available to entrepreneurs, to enterprise, to our ISV community, to customers. And so I would say, give us another chance. I would love to talk to you, you know, help you kind of, you know, if there was something that happened in the past, I can't help with that, but I'd love to help you.
I'm not an ISV.
Okay, fair enough.
Thank you very much. Good answer.
Yeah. Microsoft's an underdog now.
Well, I like to.
Apple's more valuable, right? Oh, I don't know. Is Google catching up?
Oh, goodness gracious.
No. Okay, let's get off the bashing. No, so let's talk about the cloud again, because you're the guru of the cloud and you're on the cutting edge of everything that's going on. So I'd love to let's talk about this for the entrepreneurs out here. You know, what's next? I mean, there's all this data in the cloud, right? So all of a sudden, you know, what used to be, you know, hived off in these cordoned off sections and back-end servers of companies, right?
Sometimes even in vaults.
In vaults, right? And that's the norm. But all this stuff is maybe crawling, and if you're the platform and you're public, mainly, you know, you've got some private, but you've got a public cloud where all these data sets are put together. You could probably do some really rich mining of data. If you were to think about all the check-in data, location, all that intense data, can you talk about what you're seeing? Is that just too far away?
No,
or are you seeing it now?
Yeah, I think we're starting to see it now. So sorry, I get excited when you start bringing this up, so I start talking over you. I'm sorry. It's your conference. I can be polite. So one of the interesting things that we see is that data as a service in the cloud is going to be a really interesting thing. And you know, listening to some of the pitch companies, some of the companies are starting to touch on this here. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow with the social part coming into this because I think we're going to see some more of that. But the concept behind the cloud is kind of being an aggregator for disassociated data is a really powerful one. Google's experimented with this, Amazon's experimented with this. Microsoft has a product called Project Dallas that actually not only is experimenting with this, but building a marketplace for data sets. And you kind of think, I like to refer to it as kind of my unloved data set. So if you think of, you know, a large petrochemical company that may have done, you know, drilling exploration around the world for the last 80 years, they've probably gone through those data sets 100 times over to find where they can afford to drill and make money, right? But when you start talking about some of the clean tech companies starting to look at how maybe they can pull more out in a more efficient way, or how they can, land reuse, et cetera, that data suddenly becomes valuable. Rather than recapturing all that again, maybe it's the opportunity to put that data set up in the cloud, put it as part of a marketplace, allow access per use. And some of these other companies then, where the single biggest investment they would ever make in their existence would be building their own data set, can now leverage what's come before. And so we see that kind of data as a service as being one of the really unique attributes that cloud brings. We've got this project called Project Dallas that will not only allow for people to gain access to this, but also build a marketplace around it, because that data is inherently valuable. And it may be more valuable for some uses than others, so we can see things like aggregated use. And we expect developers to start building applications where the data isn't theirs, but the view on that data is unique enough that they can actually generate revenue from it.
Right.
And so, huge opportunity.
Yeah, and you're hearing these things, the check-in services, Foursquare,
Absolutely.
and Goala, and these guys that are looking for a business model.
Right.
And they're being pressed to find a public set of data that they can all mine, or other companies trying to build on top of that, right?
So and it's interesting because I use kind of an old school kind of example of where all this data would come from. But if you start looking at the check-in stuff, it's really interesting. I was with a CIO recently of a major hotel chain, and he said, we can't even delve into all the data, the information that we collect around our customers, around people interested in stuff like that. And when we start looking at check-in data and start the new wave advertising data we're getting back, we just don't know how to do that.